Welcome to Let's Get Dumb, the podcast where I, comedian Joe Kilgallon, and comedian Jonah Jurkens like to ask dumb questions, tell dumb stories, make dumb lists, and just have a dumb old time with you. How are you, Jonah?
I am great, Joe Kilgallon.
You open with a robot.
I'm
voice.
trying different ways to open up.
I like that you're mixing it up, though. Go with your heart, and you'll never go wrong.
Yeah. Oh.
You like that?
Did you put that on a t-shirt?
I would like to.
Yeah.
I love how your go-to is putting things on a t-shirt, by the way.
I always, you know why I think it is? I was thinking about this the other day, is because I always wanted to own like a funny t-shirt company.
What would you call it?
T-shirts, but it would be TEA, and our logo would have a little teacup.
That is awful. That's a horrible
I was on the
idea.
spot. I
I
can't think of it.
I know it's tough. It's tough with some spots.
What would be your?
I wanted to yes and that one, but there's no need.
What would be your?
You know what? I don't have a funny
company?
T-shirt company name, but I did want to have a store because I saw a store like this in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where you're inside and it was just all cool stuff. So I thought I would have a store called All Things Cool.
There is stores
in
like
it,
that.
Like with that title?
Yeah, that's insane that you brought that. Yeah.
No, for real, there's a store called All Things Cool?
Yeah, All Things Cool, and there's a store called like Stuff We All Need or Stuff We All Want. Did I not tell us on this
Fact check that,
podcast?
Austin. No, you have not. But let me just say, because when I was in there, they had sports memorabilia. They had records. They had old, VHS and Blu-ray and DVD. Like they had everything that was like cool shit.
You could also name that store "Are You a Dad?" Question mark.
Well, everything I listed was not stuff that only dads like.
It's the age group that would be a dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because sports memorabilia is exclusive to fathers. I didn't spend my teenage years trying to get autographed baseballs and things like that.
Yeah, but then you grew up and you had 2 kids.
Yeah, I know, but I just think you're way the fuck off by saying those things were dad stuff. Records, vinyl records, only dads are buying vinyl records.
Now, yeah, people I think that are dad.
You
dad
have
age.
a huge collection that you've started.
At the age I could have kids. That's my point.
I know, but like, have you ever met a 22-year-old hipster? They've got bigger record collections than any 68-year-old.
There's no 22-year hipsters anymore. That's the thing. You don't understand. There's no hipsters anymore. That's our generation thing.
Are hipsters gone, Austin? That's bullshit.
They're still there, but I think
they don't call themselves hipsters though.
They're just a smaller group, is what my point. They're not
I
as
always see
prevalent.
people at record stores, but I don't ever see one buy anything. So maybe you're right.
Mm-hmm. Do you see people your age at record stores?
Yeah, I mean, I only go to
Few and far
one on
between.
Belmont.
When they walk in by accident looking for a glass of water? Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're right.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling
In
you.
terms of hardcore buying, maybe you're right.
Yeah, hardcore.
I
Yes,
don't-
hardcore buying, I
know
should say.
anyone my
Yes.
age that actually
Yeah.
buy,
Well, nobody your age has money.
That's my point. That's also
Yeah.
my point. I mean, that is why sports memorabilia took a fucking dive, right? And now it's back because the people that are into that were people our age that were so into it when it was big.
Well, nostalgic stuff is huge back now because it's the people who have money now are people who are our age. They got a little extra income. But I don't mean like sports memorabilia per se. Like I just mean like even sports gear and stuff like that. Like
Oh, I see.
yeah, like you go in there and it's like, oh, that's a cool hat. Like
So it's
like,
play it against sports.
just cool shit. I'm not talking about like a used golf clubs.
Okay.
I mean like, oh, that's a really cool fucking Chicago Bears hooded sweatshirt and like just like
Who dictates
all
the cool stuff?
what's that?
Who dictates what's cool? Is it you?
Well,
Is
me,
it
the owner of the store.
Okay.
But I would take a big sample of what I'm not going to just sell to people my own age who like the shit I like. That's why I chose sports, movies, and music as my 3 examples. And then Jonah said that those were things that dads like.
No, you said CDs, DVDs, and records.
I don't think I said CDs.
You
but
didn't say
I said,
CDs.
like,
you said records and DVDs and Blu-rays.
I did say
That's what
records.
said.
Records
Yeah.
specifically. Because I was thinking of the specific store I went to that was cool.
Yeah.
And it just had like it had like Happy Meal toys. And it
that's
had like,
cool.
yeah, it had like shit like that. Like just, not even like super old school, like, oh my God, the Burger King Simpsons thing that was big back in the day. Remember those? But yeah,
Yeah.
it had like all sorts of, it had like modern stuff. It had like throwback stuff. It had like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of really cool shit in there, just all over the place.
I want to name a store shit I like. And
Shit
it's
I
just
like.
me sitting behind a counter. It's just a bunch of stuff I like.
You're right.
That's
Like,
actually-
that's all we got.
And then people like shit on it. You're like, well, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. It's on the store.
Yeah, it's called Well, I Like It.
Well, I like it.
Well, I like it.
That's actually a phenomenal name for a store because if there's a store called Shit I Like, I kind of want to be like, let's find out what this dude likes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fun to just pop in. Let's pop in and see. It might be
And
some
he's
really
there
crazy
for you
stuff.
To judge. You can tell him to his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you, it might be like, all right, here is a drawer of butt plugs. That's my Ninja Star collection. This is Mountain Dew cans from over the years.
That's a good one.
Like, just our Jack and Jill posters from
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
posters
That I like.
framed. Yeah, so that'd be interesting for people to be like, let's go. That's a name that makes me go, I want to pop in there and just kind of give it a gander.
In your scenario that you just gave, in your mind, what drawer was the butt plugs? Top drawer, middle drawer, bottom drawer?
All three.
All three.
man.
Okay,
It's all
so
scattered in
dresser
here.
so
full
all
of
the
butt
things are
plugs.
mixed together.
Well, stores don't really have drawers though, so it'd have to be like a display case, and that's top shelf.
That's top shelf.
That's eye level for anyone that's 5'8" and above.
It's like that, and then your Game Boy Advance next to it.
Yeah, there you go.
And
See,
it doesn't say if it's used or not. So you have to decide if I just like bought butt plugs because I like them or are they used.
Yeah. And the answer is when someone goes, "Is this used?" The only response is, "Who can tell?"
Yeah, shit I like. I don't know.
That's the shit I like. Yeah.
I like them used.
Well, I like that one. And you're like, so that one's used. You're like, well, no, fuck, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
Total fake out situation.
What would you call it?
If someone says, "Is this used?" I think you'd have to be like, "Does it smell used?"
Yeah, why don't you
Right?
give it a whiff?
What would you call what?
I forgot you already said the
already
name.
said,
Should I
yeah.
like? Yeah,
Oh,
should I like?
He said, "Should I like?" But then I did not know there was a store called All Things Cool.
All things cool. That's what it was.
Okay, I was on that.
Is that a chain?
There's
I don't know.
so I
all cool.
I mean, there's a lot of mom and pop stores like that because I told you like the thing. I swear I talked about this on this podcast where I love So I Married an Axe Murderer, a great movie.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing in that, which it's like weird when you watch a movie when you're a kid, like you take a certain joke and you've just been doing it forever. That's the thing where he goes in the girl's apartment and he goes, "This is a great apartment, but you know what it needs is an oversized photo or oversized poster of Atlantic City." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, look at that." Like I guessed it. So I do that all the time as like a little joke.
Yeah.
And I was going up this escalator with my girlfriend at the time, and then there was a store called Things We All Want or Things We All Like. And then I was like, they should have a store to her. I go, they should have a store where it's like, it's kind of like stuff that we all like. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, like you just walk in, you're like, I don't know, I like all this stuff. And she was like, that's a good idea. And I go, I just come up with these things, And then she looks over and she goes, Jonah. She goes, hey, Jonah, look, they have that. I go, I fucking know. I've been doing this for 3 years.
She did not pick up on that.
No.
She did that on purpose. Okay,
And she's a smart person. She's a nurse.
Nurses are smart,
like,
but she must have been very tired
cardiac
off of her
nurse.
shift because
We were
that's
partying all week,
Slightly
so,
embarrassing.
yeah.
All right, well, fair enough.
Also, I sold it pretty well.
You know what gag I used to do that was similar to that one? I would say I'm driving in a Target parking lot. I would roll down my window and say to someone, "Hey, do you know where Target is? I'm looking for the Target."
Yeah.
And they'd just look at me like, "It's right there." I'm like, so silly, stuff like that,
Right.
Yeah, or like, "Do you know where the highway is?" When I'm like right next to the highway, be like, "I'll find it."
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun to do.
Or like you say like, oh, it's right there. Okay, cool. And as you like roll it down, you go, "See, I told you it's 4 blocks away," and then you just leave.
That's be a fun one too. Yeah, I'd be like, I didn't want to ask her because she's a woman, but she is right. It is right here. Austin, did you find out if All Things Cool is a thing?
I don't see anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep looking over at you because it looked like you're hard at Google.
No, yeah, it's nothing. I mean, like
Hard
I
at
see,
Google.
I see
Yeah.
an eBay collection. I see a store called Everything Cool in St. Augustine.
I'm assuming the store
Florida.
probably shut down. I mean,
There's
the store like that
Everything
shuts down.
Cool. Yeah, I mean it's just
All right.
general names.
You made it seem like it was a chain though, and apparently
yeah,
it's not a
you made
chain.
it sound like it was McDonald's.
No, I
Didn't
didn't.
he?
Okay, well then I misspoke, and I shouldn't have said that. And I'm an asshole, and I'm gonna kill myself. Blow myself out. Welcome to season 2. Boom! Like just blow my fucking brains out.
Oh my
That'd be
God.
insane. You'd finally get all the likes you wanted.
If I got all the likes I wanted,
Yeah, if I blew my brains out on the thing. That's how dedicated I am to you in this podcast.
oh, you're so sweet. If that happened, I would definitely be taking all the Celsius out of your fridge home with me.
And there's not a lot. That's fine.
I'm just joking. I was trying to think what I would swipe.
Fuck. What the fuck were you just talking about? Never mind. Let's keep talking.
Keep talking. Just keep talking.
Yeah, I was trying
We're
to.
talking about stores, though. Good businesses. You know what we were talking about before the podcast? I got to find the exact thing so I could share with our listeners so that they could give their answers. But it was, of all of these American chains, which one would you like to see brought back? These are all like things that were once popular, once part of American life, and they've been made obsolete. And the one that stuck out to me when I saw this was Blockbuster Video.
Yeah, we talked
and
about
how
that.
much I miss a video store. Maybe this is the dad in me, but I almost want our younger listeners to understand you're missing out on a really cool chunk of life that would go down at those stores. You'd go in with like your girlfriend or something, and you didn't know what you wanted to watch. And maybe you had dinner earlier, or maybe you're going to go get dinner later, but you'd go in there and the store was lit just right. All the shelves filled with movies. You had past movies that you've already seen that you love. And you're like, oh, this fucking one, right? And just, you had good vibes in there, you know? Sometimes it would go a little too long and you're like, just pick a fucking movie already. What are you trying to embarrass me, you stupid fucking bitch? Like you had things like that, right? Call back everybody. But I remember just liking that. I remember being like, oh, she's over a couple aisles over there. And then you grab the movie that you're like, this is the one. And you yell, you go, hey, snap your fingers and point at that DVD. And it's like, let's go. And then they always had the movie style candy and movie style popcorn you could buy there. And that was a nice thing, you know, and everyone thinks now it's great because you get to just search endlessly through Netflix.
It's too many options.
It's not, the fun is gone.
It's too many options. But also my favorite was you go, for the people that've never been to it, like they would have X amount of like movies because you could only have it. So like the new releases have the most. So they have like maybe 20 copies. And you go there on a Friday, you're like, fuck, it's going to be out. I know it. And then it would all be out and you're like, shit. And then if you went to the counter, all of a sudden you hear that, and then the people are looking through it, and then you're like, "Is Batman Returns in there?" And they're like, "Yeah." And you're like, "Can I have that?" Like, "Yeah." And you get your Batman Returns. You're disappointed, and then all of a sudden you're appointed.
No, you're delighted. But you, you remind me of another thing too with the employees there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd get into a rhythm with some of them where they would be like, hey, if you like that, you got to check this one out.
I always wanted to work there.
Yeah.
I've always.
Louis C.K. was on something way back when. I don't know if he was on like, some radio show or whatever. And he said something that always stuck with me where he talked about how nice it was before everything became chains. And granted, Blockbuster's a chain. But it was like if you went to like a local bookstore and you supported that bookstore and you went in there enough, eventually the people who worked there would be like, hey, this book that just came in, if you like the other authors, trust me, you're going to like this one.
Or they'd be like, I thought about you and I got it on the side for you.
Yeah. Like I put this aside when the new thing. There was like, that was a more of a sense of community. And I feel like that's missing too.
Agreed.
Right. Are we just going to talk about all the things that should be brought back? Because that is one of those things too, where, you just kind of lose some things. And that's what capitalism does.
Should we call this the millennial memory lane?
Yeah, I don't know what we're going through with this one. It's very late. It's past midnight on a Monday night, a holiday. It's a Tuesday morning now, right? But no, I was just trying to think about like the little things that my kids won't get to experience, and they'll have their own experiences. Those would be great too. You don't miss what you didn't have, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. Like we didn't. I mean, I don't miss Vietnam War at all.
Not at all.
No.
Sounds like bad times, So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I definitely think that the more we get digitalized, the people who knew what it was like before are definitely going to feel sorry for the people who are going through it now.
It's just like the drive to Blockbuster was like amazing. Yeah, like being like, and then also like for me, it was like, because like I love one of my favorite things that Netflix did and Amazon started is that they started putting trailers to all the movies, which is great, but like nothing was better than like going down like the action movies, right? And you see all like the B ones, and you're just like all you're going off is like there's so many movies nowadays when people are like, oh, the movie Trespass, like with Bill Paxton. I know that cover so fucking well because I've walked past it so many times at Blockbuster, being like, what is this fucking movie? And I then grabbing it and watching it, being like, this movie rules, and like nobody knows about it, but like that picture of that cover art is like ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these movie studios spend a lot of money on really good cover art.
They were like in the 80s when they were like this whole boom because of the whole like rental system and because of VHS. Like people were selling movies just on the poster first before the movie was made.
Yeah.
So they would make the poster and they'd sell it. And like, man, you can tell like that cover art, that is a lost art, is cover art. Like it is incredible.
Oh, they use the same three companies. Someone told me once. That's why so many of them look a lot alike. But that's another thing too I miss about physical media being common. And one of my favorite things I've been doing lately when I go on the road is I go to like Goodwills or thrift stores and I go through the books and I go through like the DVDs and stuff like that. Cause I still watch DVDs. Cause there are some movies you just can't find on streaming.
No.
And so it's like, I'll go to fucking Half Price Books and I'll guarantee I can find a used copy of it. No problem. You know what I mean? Like the movie I got from you a couple weeks ago, The Warriors. The movie came out in like 1979. It was a real like, wasn't a big box office hit, but it became like a cult classic. And it's a fun little movie. And I remember being like, fuck, I haven't seen this in forever. And I know you can't find this on streaming. And so you having the DVD was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. Thanks, man. I get to watch this now. I missed when you hold something and you could read the back of it. And in the summer, there's something nice about physical media. That's why I've never gotten involved with reading Kindle and digital books.
Really?
Fuck that. I can't read on a screen. There is no more satisfying feeling in the world than when you finish a book and you close that fucker.
I have no idea what that feels like.
One day, Jonah.
I've never read a book.
One day you will find
It's very
out.
obvious that I've never read a full
It'll
book.
move your penis.
You think so?
I was the first one to brought penises today, wasn't I?
Did.
Hog Squad!
I do need my dick moved. I tell you that. I tell you that.
It's probably going to happen pretty soon because Jonah's going on vacation, everybody.
I am.
That's what's inspiring today's top 5 list. It's a dumb list because that's what we do. It's what we work in. That's our art form. That's our clay. You're going to Spain.
I am.
Which is in Europe, which is one of the 7 continents.
Whoa, okay.
Little geography for you.
Yeah, I got 2 new wrinkles on my brain.
Americans aren't all dumb. So we decided to do top 5 reasons Europeans hate the United States of America, or hate Americans.
Before we do top 5, Joe, let's. I just want to ask you this question because you were just in Ireland as well.
I was in Scotland, but I did have a layover in Ireland for a little bit.
True. So
for like 6 hours.
I think there's a little bit of kingship with maybe Ireland, Scotland, and the U.S. a little bit better. But did you feel a hatred towards?
I mean, no, I didn't feel a hatred towards. I think the people were all really nice there, but I'm sure behind the back they were like, "Fucking dumb Yank doesn't know this." You
think
know what I
so?
mean? Dumb Yank doesn't know that. Yeah, because like I've met Irish people who give American shit and Scottish people give American shit, but I don't think they hate us as much as like maybe mainland Europe.
Okay,
you know what I mean? The English are annoyed with Americans these days. I feel like a little bit.
Went to Italy and you could feel the I mean, it's not all places, and you know there was a lot of nice people, and we went to Paris before that. I think that they generally were pretty nice, but
the Mediterranean countries,
you could just feel the visceral kind of hate, and it was like, it was laughable, like how horrible the service was at some places, and like I'm shockingly American, like I'm a very American person, and like I also wear like I guess like the graphic tees is a big, like, fucking Americans with these fucking graphic tees is a big thing because we dress like idiots. You know, that will be on my list later. But
sure, I mean, I just think the jeans and t-shirt look has been around forever, but now they're called
plain
graphic
jeans.
tees.
Yeah, but like tees, like a graphic tee, like a t-shirt with something on it.
I know what a graphic tee is. Why are you explaining that to me?
No, because a t-shirt and jeans is fine, but like if you're wearing like a white,
yeah, but I'm
t-shirt,
saying
black
that
t-shirt.
look, that American look of a t-shirt and jeans has always been a thing.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Graphic tees, I feel like. But like I remember being like a little kid and seeing people wearing a t-shirt with like logos on it. And
See, keep saying t-shirt. I don't think you understand what graphic means. So like graphic tees is like based. I'm not kidding. I'm fucking with you from before.
I know you are. I was gonna see how long you were gonna go with it.
You got so frustrated with me.
I was waiting. I need like you whatever. All right.
Because I was like, it's crazy. Like, we got in a little bit of trouble in. I don't think I've mentioned this before. That's the name of my podcast. I don't think I've mentioned this before.
You've mentioned that joke before.
Shit. God damn it. So, did I mention did I mention the espresso thing?
No.
No.
I don't know.
Okay. So we were in Italy, and I love limoncellos, so I'd get like a limoncello spritz. So we'd order limoncello spritz. Girlfriend wanted espresso, wanted coffee, right? And I know it's like a. You can make fun of the drink.
I looked over at him because he was taking a sip of something. I just glanced at him.
Was it lemon-chilled spritz?
Don't get, Jonah.
Huh?
This story.
I love you.
I love you too.
You're distracting yourself though, buddy. We're enjoying the story so far.
You better fucking.
Okay, I'm trying to make you feel confident.
So we were ordering espressos. I love you too, buddy. I really love you too.
All right, so you're a big lemon spritz guy.
Mm-hmm. Limoncello spritz.
Limoncello spritz.
Very good.
And your lovely girlfriend
Also,
wanted espresso.
Espresso. So we'd order two limoncellos and espresso, and then we get limoncello, and then espresso never came. So we were like, "Hey, can we get that?" We'd finish limoncellos and be like, "Hey, we get a limoncello espresso." And every time it's like, "Yeah, we'll get it in a second." Like, yeah, fine, get it. 3 orders in, we still haven't got a coffee, and then we're basically like, "Can we just get a fucking coffee?" Like, and I found out later that espresso means like quickly.
Oh.
Right. So that's how, but a shithead American we was basically like, yeah, can I get a limoncello? Can I get it right fucking now, please? Like, that's basically how we were ordering everything. So that's why they were being such shitheads to us, because we don't care enough about their language to learn it.
So what do they call that drink though?
A cafe Americano, I believe. I could get that wrong, but Espresso's like, or they
That-
were just taking it that way because they were like, shut the fuck up. And I will say that
Combination of both.
and before we get into this list, I will say that every fucking time I was at a restaurant and I was like, I fucking hate the people that are next to us. They're so rude and so annoying and fuck these people. And then I listen a little bit and they're like, yeah, we from Texas. Or like, you know, like, yeah, fuck the, you know, like it was clearly, and I'm like, no wonder why everybody hates us.
Well,
makes sense.
That's the number one thing on my list.
What's
Or
that?
not even number one, but the thing I want to lead off with is number one reason that Europeans hate Americans is we're dumb.
Yeah.
And we kind of are with how we travel and how other things work, because I've seen things where they go, could you believe that person acted that way or said that certain thing? And I'm like, they're not American. You're looking at it through an American lens.
Right.
We try to act like everything's surrounded by us.
Right.
Where, you know, I've heard people just be like, you know, that's against the law. And I'm like, that wasn't in America. It's a different country.
Right.
They have different laws.
Right.
14-year-olds are allowed to get drunk over there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, chill out. So I think the dumb/ignorant, which are technically different things. Ignorant just means you don't know something. You could be a smart person, but ignorant on certain subjects. So Americans tend to have this thing where it's like, we're the shit, we're great, which is actually another one on my list. And we don't bother to learn. We almost take pride in ignorance on occasion.
Yeah.
So that's loud and annoying.
Yeah.
And some of these, by the way, I'm going to stick up for Americans, but on that one, I just can't.
Yeah.
You know, I've been around, you know, I remember seeing Americans in different countries when I've traveled, and I've thought like, fuck, man, that's embarrassing.
Well, like,
So
speak
embarrassing.
English, motherfucker. It's like, you're in the wrong, you're not in that, shut up. This is their language, idiots.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
shut the fuck up.
It's wildly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add with yours. I mean, I think these are all going to be kind of the same thing, but like the world centered around them,
Yeah.
right? That's the same thing as like, I need service now. I basically even expressed that in my story about not about feeling hated. I was like, well, I need my shit like now, like, you know what I mean? Like, hurry up. But it's just like, it's hard not to feel that way.
Sense of entitlement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are some people like, this isn't even like me seeing Americans in Europe. This is me seeing Americans in America, like just being a customer at a bar, me sitting at a bar and seeing how they treat the server. You know what I mean? I remember being at a bar once for like lunch. I was by myself. I don't know what the hell I was doing there, but I saw the server go up to this table of like corporate looking stooges and just be like, how we doing today? And they responded with Diet Coke. Like,
Yeah.
she asked how you were doing.
Right.
And you were just so dismissive to even look up to acknowledge her. And was just like, Diet Coke, iced tea. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then there'd be the first ones who'd be like, service wasn't that great. It's like, no, you were cunts.
Yeah.
All right. You put out a cunt vibe, you get treated like a cunt. Put that on a t-shirt, Jonah.
Yeah.
Put it on a graphic tee.
I will. So graphic tee is like basically so this is a graphic tee.
I know
You
that one would
understand
have
that.
a really
This is
fun
like,
graphic though, because I
Yeah.
used the C word in it. You know what I mean?
Little cats on there.
My second one, because I think I was just adding to yours there, is that we're not well traveled.
Yes.
And here's where I'm gonna stick
Yes.
up for Americans a little bit. Our country's massive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't need to. You're going to Spain, which is great. Spain looks beautiful. I think it's like the number one European country I'd like to check out next.
Nice.
It's up there at least.
Send you a
but
postcard.
Thank you. But we don't need to, like the way, you know, I've got some friends in like, you know, in England who are like, oh, we need a beach holiday. They, you know, vacations they call holidays. We're going to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to go do that. We could just
Yeah.
go to Florida.
Yeah.
We could go to San Diego. We could
Yeah.
go within our own country and not have to worry about customs
Let's go
and
to
all this
Michigan.
other stuff, or not to worry about language barriers. Yeah, you could go to a lot of places that have a beach.
Traverse
right?
City. Let's go.
Sure, right? So we have all of that because our country's massive.
Mm-hmm.
Europe, which I think is cool about Europe, this is actually a pro to their defense, is they could, in the time it takes us to drive 5 hours, they could go through 3 or 4 countries, depending on where they are in Europe. So you got 3 or 4 different cultures and cuisines and everything like that. So that's why I can understand where they're just kind of like, these fucking Americans, they don't know how to act anywhere.
Yeah.
Because they don't travel.
Yeah.
And it's true, a lot of I know a ton of Americans who have never left the country.
Yeah.
A lot.
I know a lot of people.
Austin, you've never left the country?
No, I was conceived out of country, but that was the closest I got.
Where were you
Where-
conceived?
Japan.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm Japanese made, baby.
I know. I can see it all over your face. And
See what he did there?
I did.
See what he did? All right.
Fucker.
I'm going to add to your story before, or your thing before. It's like the rudeness is crazy because, you know, you think like, even like, I think I'm a sweet Midwestern boy. We like, the one thing I did notice because that was my first time in Europe when I went to Italy. I've never been. I've never really been outside the country really. Because I've been so like singly focused on stand up and all that stuff, and it's a big regret I have now. And everyone at like the airports are very helpful and very like, you know, whatever. And then we get back here and we go to Chicago and we were like trying to check back in through customs, and everyone's just like, fucking move. And people are just trying to be helpful. Right. And there's a guy in front of us who's clearly like first time in the country. He has like everything in like a Ziploc bag, kind of perfect. And all he's trying to do is get help from these people. And they're just yelling at him to move forward, right? Move forward. And, you know, he's lost, you know, understandable. He's never been in the country before. And Laura and I are right behind him, and we're going down the escalator, and we're at the end of the escalator. And then I go to Laura and I go, you know, like, it's crazy. Like, dude, like Europe's so much nicer than here. Like everyone's so mean here. Like no one's trying to help out anybody. And like everyone was so helpful when we were there. Isn't that like crazy? Like it's nice. Like how nice it is over there. And then she goes, I know, right? And then this guy hears this, and then he stops at the end of the escalator, and then he turns around and goes, can you help me, whatever? And we were like, you gotta fucking move, dude. Yeah. You're in the fucking way, dude. You're in the way. You gotta move. Like, look how rude you are. Like, you know what I mean? It was instantly transferred to that. And then we looked at each other and started laughing.
Well, don't hold the line.
Don't hold the fucking line, man.
I do notice that when I went through customs in Scotland that the people were more helpful. Yeah. Where I feel like everyone in America, they're just trying to keep it moving.
Just keep it moving.
Gotta keep it moving.
You know, because we don't pay well. That's our fucking problem.
That's another fucking thing. All right.
So I'm
sorry.
As to what I initially said before we started this, we dress like idiots.
I don't know how true that is, because I feel like a lot of American fashion is taken up by Europeans, or maybe it started
we're taking their fashions.
Okay.
I'm kind of fucking with it, for sure.
I know Milan's big and Paris is big. Those are fashion capitals. London.
Dude, just like men in general, you know, men and women just in general, like in Europe, are just like dressed to the nines. They just always look good. It's like 1920 style.
Really?
Yeah, they just look
good.
I
see a lot of fucking tracksuits over there.
It looks good on them.
Because they're thinner.
Yeah, they're thinner.
Which is my next one. Mm-hmm. They hate us because we're fat.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that's almost a jealousy thing, though, because like, well, we could do better with our food, but we're you know, we got some money and we eat well, and by eat well I mean we eat a lot. Mm-hmm. Our portion sizes are massive.
That was my portion size.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good.
Bogart yours, but yeah, it's one of those things where they just see us as lazy and fat, and I could see the lazy thing but it's really a fault of our government's ability to just do whatever the corporations want. Meaning, we don't have very walkable cities. Now, Chicago's walkable, New York's walkable. You know, there's aspects of that. But a lot of our suburbs and the things that we pushed people towards, they wanted it to be cars. They wanted people driving. Yeah. So they kind of bought up politicians being like, you zone this property for this and zone that for that. Yeah. Which is why we don't have very walkable cities, and we're a little bit larger, and we go through the drive-through every chance we get. We're not leisurely. You know, places like, you know, Spain and Portugal and France, and I'm sure Italy and Greece, they have like, you know, you take your time. You drink your coffee outside, you slow down, you have conversations with your friend. Like, they kind of value that more than we do. Yeah. Sometimes I have to remind myself to fucking slow down. Yeah. And there are times, and it's even when things where I'm like, I'm not in a rush, but I feel insanely rushed. Yeah, what's nice, because like when I was in Paris, the like the cafes and stuff, their tables are faced out towards outside, so you just are people watching and enjoying life happening, right? Instead of face at each other, face like watching people work. You know, and there's a nice new kind of Paris not themed, but like Paris type French restaurant in Chicago. Same thing, like. If you sit outside, they're kind of faced towards out, so you can people watch and enjoy, and it's kind of nice and stuff like that. Yeah, we don't enjoy things. No, we don't. Well, I wish our cities were a little bit more walkable. Even our suburbs could be more walkable. I mean, you don't need. How are we going to sell gas? I know. Yeah. How do you sell gas? How do you sell your stupid trucks? Just miles and miles of fucking parking lot. And the parking lot's so fucking hot. You ever walk across a hot parking lot in July? Just awful. That's why we're all irritable. Yeah, because everything is so inconvenient when it doesn't need to be. Right. I thought to myself, because before we started this episode, we talked about this is the list we're going to do. I remember thinking, like, I'm not going to give the Europeans all that much. I'm going to give them a little shit because we got some awesome stuff here. The more I talk about it, though, the more I'm going to get fired up and be like, fuck. Yeah. Why are we so dumb? Yeah. Jesus. Here's my other list of why people hate Americans. Because they're fucking jealous of our pop culture. We do have badass pop culture. Yeah. I'm sorry that our music's better and our movies are better and all that shit. I was thinking more music and television. or movies and television? Because I think a lot of music in other countries is pretty great. There's a lot of great European music.
Yeah, but it's all inspired by American music.
Yeah.
They're just
Probably.
ripping off America, brother.
Yeah, but they're doing it well too, though. Because I know like you're an AC/DC fan. They're Australian.
Yeah,
You know, I'm wearing a Beatles hat. They're from England. You know, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that music. I was just gonna add that actually a lot of European music's pretty great.
Yeah, like with a little shitty guitar and stuff.
Little shitty guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guitar is a pretty great instrument.
Yeah, and a harpsichord.
You know, I mean, pretty much
harpsichord
pretty
fan?
much all of the modern instruments are made over there. Were invented over there, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So actually, do you know what the only American invented instrument is? The banjo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Calling your dick an instrument is generous. I feel like that's the joke you're gonna make. I don't know why I'm trashing your dick. I don't know what kind of dick you have, and I hope I never find out ever.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That hurts.
Disgusting.
Really? No, I keep track of it pretty well. I have a tracker on my phone. Yesterday, fine. Day before, fine. Day before that, fine. What was your next one?
I think it was your turn. No, because I had fat. I dumb, not traveled, fat. What's your number 4?
I did. Mine was jealous. They're not. They don't have.
Our pop culture is pretty fucking awesome.
Pretty fucking
especially,
awesome, right?
especially TVs and movies.
Yeah,
stuff
and like
that,
and graphic tees, like that's fucking sweet. Like that's like good.
On graphic tees, they should really be jumping on it. Although
They
I
really
like some of
should.
their fashion too.
What's that?
I like some of their fashion. I like their fall fashion.
Their fall fashion is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
No, I like their summer fashion. To me, summer fashion, I can't pull that shit off. Like a nice like tight black shirt with like slacks and like the slip on like nice dress shoes. I'd get made fun of wearing that here. You know
why? Because you have an American body.
I have an American body.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
Because you know why? Fucking portion control.
Yeah.
That's the
Europeans
problem.
are thinner.
And they're fucking pumped with all their hormones and shit. It's fucking with my body and my tits. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
You get them tits out.
Huh?
You gotta take the tits out sometimes.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Bust your tits out, dude.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's my next one. We're arrogant in regards to, because that kind of goes back to like America, like thinking we're like number one in the world. Because we're always like America, greatest country in the world, greatest country. No other country tells their citizens we're the greatest country. Maybe England probably did, but like
until we fucking took over, brother.
Yeah. So, but like it's still a stupid thing though.
Uh-huh.
I know Americans who are literally like, we got our problems. We're still the greatest country in the world.
Right.
And I'm like, all you do is hate on this country.
Right.
Though.
And then how many countries you been to? They're like, not a fucking one. I don't
Yeah.
need
So
to.
how do you know?
I don't need to.
It's weird to be that confident thing.
Yeah.
And also, who cares if we're the? I remember having this conversation with someone once where I'm like, "Do you love America?" And they're like, "Yeah, I fucking love America." I'm like, "Well, then who cares if we're the greatest?
Right.
As long as you're happy here and you love it, what difference does the world rankings matter?
Right.
And why do you have to be all like puffing your chest? Because when you run around saying you're the greatest, you're the greatest, you're the greatest, it kind of comes off with like it's insecure.
A little
It's
bit,
like
yeah.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan has never said I'm the greatest basketball player of all time. You know who has? LeBron James.
Yeah.
And 'cause he's chasing the real number 23.
Right.
So that's kind of like, that's how I compare it, you know?
Yeah.
We're very arrogant. We don't think we need to learn any other languages.
How do you feel? How do you feel about them thinking that the only two cities in the United States that matter are Los Angeles and New York?
That's where their ignorance comes into play.
Because you think Chicago's number one.
I think so, yes, because I know.
Is this where you're from? That's the number. That's the number one.
Where do you rank Chicago in terms
I mean,
of
it's good.
cities
I
in
like
America?
it. I don't know. I think it's not that good. I think New York's better than Chicago. I think the food's better in New York. What do you think?
I don't know. I think you have very mediocre taste in food overall, to
Okay.
be honest. Yeah, you're a good griller. The last 10 places you've ordered from for us, I've said thank you, but literally in my head, I thought, what's happening to him? Every year of his life, he gets shittier at his choices.
Okay.
No, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to rile me up. I
I'm not trying to rile
I
you
don't
up.
really care what people think about Chicago. I don't think Europeans think there's only two cities in America because I meet Europeans in Chicago all the time. So clearly they're finding it here. Also, whenever they do world polls about greatest cities in different parts of the world, Chicago is usually in the top 3.
So
it's usually Edinburgh, Scotland, Montreal, Chicago, Berlin. Like, there's some cities like that, obviously Paris and London and Rome are always going to be up there. But as far as like cities that you wouldn't think of right away, and New York usually falls like in the bottom half of the top 25.
Yeah.
It's just the truth.
You know what's
true.
So, and this is kind of goes to American arrogance and that whole like, oh, you don't fucking know about America, dude. Like, I mean, it's the same thing. Like when I go, to, I'm going to Spain. I know nothing about Spain. I fucking know nothing. I'm so excited. Like, luckily my girlfriend's like planning it all. There's no way. If you asked me to plan a trip for us, I'd be like, I don't know nothing. And I'm so ignorant about it, right? So I understand like if I go there and I tell people like these are my plans, they're gonna be like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. You don't know anything about our country. But I was talking to people when I was in Italy, and I was just like, they're like, oh, America, and they're like, they were nice, for the most part. And then they were like, I was like, oh, you gonna come? They're like, oh, I can't wait to go. I'm so excited. I have the greatest trip planned. And I'm like, where? And they go, going to Baltimore. And I was like, what? Like I had 3 people be like, I can't wait. I heard Baltimore's great. I'm like, are you just watching The Wire? Because that should show you that it's not good.
I heard the crab cakes are great there, but I don't really know.
And everybody wants to do the Route 66. So I'm like, that's the worst decision. What are you doing, Route 66?
So we're going Chicago to LA on all those roads?
Yeah.
That's Route 66.
Yeah.
Starts
in Albuquerque?
Starts at Michigan and Jackson and ends in
Albuquerque. Or
no, Santa Monica Pier in LA.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I know because I saw the sign that says end of Route 66.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Santa Monica Pier. That's fucking traveling though. That's just you got to fucking learn from your mistakes, but it's an expensive mistake. You know what I mean?
But the American in me is just like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. What are you doing?
I mean, like, as far as New York and Chicago go, just to go back to that, there are some things that New York does way better than Chicago food-wise. New York's a more walkable city. I wish our public transportation was as sprawling as theirs was. I would
argue that Chicago's a more walkable city.
I would go against that.
Enjoyment factor.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, I think there's so much going on in New York. The walk seems quicker. You could walk 20 blocks there, and there's so much going on that it seems faster.
Yeah.
And then there's parts of Chicago that have that. I'm sure there's parts of New York. I haven't been to the outskirts of Queens or Brooklyn, but like, I don't know. I mean, Chicago's very walkable too. It's great, but I like New York as far as like a lot of their like deli sandwich places go. Mm-hmm. Bodegas are great. People try to act like 7-Elevens are the same thing. They're fucking not. Mm-hmm. Okay, bodegas really have a real cool charm to them. Because a lot of them will serve you hot food as well.
Right.
One of the best. I went to that not Katz. What's it called? The big deli there. Katz is actually the famous deli in LA.
There's a Katz in.
Is Katz the famous one in New York?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Katz is the famous one in New York. I'm sorry. There's a different one in LA that's similar. But anyway, I went to Katz's Deli in New York, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. Fine. Mm-hmm. Best sandwich I had there. Still the best sandwich I've ever had in my life. Was at this fucking bodega at like 3 a.m, and I cannot remember the name of the place, but I kind of know where it is because I was staying not like a mile and a half from there in Brooklyn. That was phenomenal. They did like this. I never had jalapenos on turkey before, and it was fucking unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing was delicious. Katz's Deli was like a slightly dry corned beef sandwich, and I'd wait in line for 45 fucking minutes.
Right.
The black and white cookie was pretty amazing though. But yeah, other than that, I was like, no biggie.
Yeah, I went to Mexico City, and like some of the best restaurants in the world are there, right? And I went to some of those, and they're fantastic. There's no, I'm not putting those down at all. Best food I had was just street tacos after a wrestling match. Like I got sick and I diarrheaed for about fucking a week, but it was worth it, and I lost a lot of weight. And thank you. Win-win. Mm-hmm. And
did your wrestler win? Win W's all around.
Sin Cara, yeah, he won. Yeah,
hell yeah,
yeah. Before he got. He's in Austin. Peter Austin's a wrestler fan. He's in where's Sin Cara now?
He's still with like AAA and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mystico and all of them.
Yeah.
All right, my last one on the list. We are violent. America.
This goes along with mine.
But like it's funny too, because like I think we have. I don't know if it's that we're any more violent than anyone else. I think it's just our attitude and our response to our own violence probably makes Europeans shake their head like, how the fuck could you be like that? Because I don't think it's anything in the blood, because white Americans' blood is traced back to Europe, right? So it's like, what do we inherit? Or, what didn't we inherit from our ancestors and all that kind of stuff?
A chip on our shoulder, though.
We definitely have like that chip on our shoulder of, we're very big on like don't fuck with us. You know what I mean? We'll put a boot in your ass. Fucking America, fuck yeah, like all that kind of thing, and quick to throw punches and ask questions later, and that comes from just being irritable all the time, like I just talked about. Stuck in traffic, we're in these hot parking lots. We know we're getting fucked every which way, but we can't do anything about it.
Pumped full of shitty hormones from food.
Yeah, bad food.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, just not enough anything.
Yeah,
that we should be getting. And so, yeah, and I've Europeans have been cracking jokes left and right about our school shootings. And as an American, it's kind of like, Yeah, I think we have to take them on the chin. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff when I see Europeans talking shit about Americans. I'm like, nah, fuck you. Let's go back and forth. Let's slug this out verbally, right? And then there's a few things, and this goes at everything in your life. I have aspects of my personality when people throw in my face, I have to be like, yeah, fair, right?
Yeah.
On that one, when Europeans make those jokes, it's like, yeah, we have to own that because that's a fucked up part of our culture that we're doing nothing to fix.
Right.
So we got to eat it.
Yeah. This goes along with mine. We're bad drunks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to,
which I think we're not. I mean, like when I'm here, I'm like, oh, we're not. We're fucking like Midwest drinks, whatever. But like, we're bad drunks compared to, like, we're sloppy. We get shitty. Not everybody, but I think stereotypically we get shitty. We think we can handle our booze, but we can't, and we get angry. Not all of us, but some people get angry. But like, yeah, it's.
Do you know why I think it is too?
Why?
It's our attitude towards alcohol with our drinking laws. We have the highest drinking age law in the world.
Right.
21. You have to be over 21 to drink. 21 to legally purchase alcohol.
Right.
Most of Europe, even if they have a drinking age, it's looked the other way.
Yeah.
Or you'll drink alcohol at dinner. You'll drink a glass of wine with your parents for dinner. So they don't have the idea. I remember I took French in high school. And I remember my French teacher, who'd been to France a million times, was talking about how the idea of teenagers getting alcohol poisoning, they couldn't grasp that because she was telling a story about this student she knew who had alcohol poisoning, and they're like, "What? Why?
Yeah.
What is that? What is even that?"
Yeah.
Because we grow up where it's like you can't drink till you're 21 and don't drink alcohol and don't this. So then we start underage drinking because it feels fun. Ooh, it's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm 15 years old and I'm sneaking some whiskey in the alley over here.
We can't be a fucking harsh parent.
Yeah, I guess
Same
I can't
thing.
be. But like, it's one of those things where I think if we grew up where like alcohol wasn't made a big deal, we make it a big deal.
Right.
Right. That's why we overdo it. That's why we're not good drinkers. That's why, we're sloppy, we're loud, we're fucking dumbasses. Right. I don't know if you felt that way. And that's why I think Wisconsin's probably the best drinking state, because I feel like in Wisconsin, it's such a part of the culture. You guys got to stop drinking and driving though, but it's such a part of the culture, the whole state. I'm not talking about you. You give me a look like I was talking about you. But like, it just makes it where, if you grew up with alcohol in the house, I don't think you're going to be like, oh, I had 7 beers last night.
In Wisconsin, if you're under 21 and you're with your legal guardian, you can drink.
And that was the last state to go to 21, right?
Yeah. Do you know why that is?
Yeah, I know, because state funding for highways.
Yeah. The United States was like, okay, well, we're not gonna give you new highways, or we're not gonna fix shit. And they're like, fine. And then we finally went to it, which is insane.
Because everyone who grew up in Chicago in the 70s has stories about right after school on Friday, we would get in the car, drive up to across the border, buy a bunch of booze, bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think neighboring states, probably like Minnesota and Iowa and Illinois, we're all like Michigan. We're like, fuck Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Getting all of our teenagers are drinking and driving and crashing. You guys got to knock this off. And then Wisconsin was like, well, what about states' rights, which is fair on their end.
Do you think that there's bordering states that hate each other more than like Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota? I feel like I can't think of like. Do you think like I don't even think about bordering states, but like, do you think Arizona hates New Mexico that much? New Jersey, New York, yeah,
that's famous.
But do
Georgia, Alabama, maybe?
Does New York hate Maine as much though? I'm talking about like surrounding.
I don't know. That's such regional shit. Like, I
mean, New Mexico hates Texas very much. I know that.
But do they hate Arizona?
No,
they should.
They should.
If you live in New Mexico, you should hate Arizona. And here's why.
What's west? Nevada or Colorado? Nevada?
Nevada's northwest.
Colorado versus Arizona. That's their thing.
Okay.
Those two.
Yeah, there's always
there's rivalries with college sports and shit like that.
Yeah, that adds.
It's mainly sport related.
But like I was like, not to talk about Wisconsin, but like I was raised to hate Minnesota, Michigan, and or UP, fucking Upers, man. Fuck those Upers 100%. And like Illinois, you fucking fibs. And like it is insane how much.
Tell the listener what fib means.
Fucking Illinois bastard.
That's what they call people from Illinois who go up and stimulate your local economies every summer.
No, because you go up and you drive like shit, and then we all fucking hate you because you don't know how to drive. Because you drive down here when it's scary.
We're supposed to be driving drunk, and you guys are.
And you're fucking us up from that. How can I drive drunk when you're on my ass the whole time?
Hey, by the way, to show how fair I am and unbiased I could be, like I know I say the only takes I make are my own, and that's me playing it up. But ask me who the worst drivers in the country are.
Who's the worst drivers in the country?
Chicago.
Really? You think so?
100%.
Really?
I think Chicago is the worst drivers in the United States.
I think I've become a bad driver because I think you're just more aggressive. More than New York? Do you think New York traffic? I guess there's so little, but
New York has
there's
such
a lot,
bad
but-
traffic that I don't think they could get any kind of flow to be good or bad.
even worse than. I mean, you're in LA for a while.
No, actually, no. Chicago is the worst traffic in America. Chicago's traffic is worse than LA. And actually,
Really?
this is statistically accurate now. We just passed like LA for worst traffic in America. And someone said like the third worst in the world. I don't know.
Really?
So here's what's annoying is like Chicago, you'll be in traffic for 45 minutes, but you went 3.5, 4 miles.
That's
New
the
York,
worst, yeah.
people don't. I meant to say about New York is that, yeah, they have congestion and traffic, of course, and their roads are smaller because they were built, it's
Forever ago.
an older
Yeah.
city. It's
Yeah.
the first major city because it's a port. And with New York, it's dumb to have a car.
Yeah.
Like in New York, owning a car feels like, why? What are you doing? There's wealthy people who don't own, people in the Upper East Side who are rich
Yeah.
as shit a lot of them don't even own cars, for real.
Yeah.
In LA, if you don't have a car, you're insane.
Yeah.
Chicago, you have the option, which is where it makes Chicago kind of cool. You could have a car and people don't look weird at you. You can not have a car and people don't look weird at you.
No.
It's totally like, yeah, makes sense either way,
Right.
right? So with Chicago driving, I just don't know what it is. I wish I had a better answer for you about why we suck at driving.
Yeah. What I think because you guys are. I mean, you're aggressive as a people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're bad at driving because of that mix I just talked about.
Yeah, and I think you hit on it before. It's just like you just have the worst traffic. Like you're the worst congestion. You don't talk about
No, congestion's really bad. The traffic's really bad. And when you're in traffic, you start looking at your phone. And then when it starts going, no one's paying attention. And then people realize I'm fucking running late. So then when they take to the streets, they drive overly crazy. So they're asshole drivers.
Yeah.
Which makes them bad.
Nothing makes me more mad than a car that's just like spins out, goes up, and then has to stop at a stop sign. I'm like, that really saved you like 20 seconds. Like, where are you going? Where are you going where you need the extra 30 seconds?
Absolutely.
Like, you're fine.
Or how about when they don't let you in and you're like, I can see the light. It's a red light. You're
Yeah.
rushing to stop.
Right.
You have to stop soon anyway. Let me the fuck in, asshole.
Yeah.
Let me merge.
Zipper.
Zip it.
Zip.
Zipper. So yeah, I mean, that fucking fires me up, man.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most about going to Spain?
Here's the thing, honestly, I don't know. Like, cause I know nothing about Spain. I'm excited to learn things I've never learned before. I'm taking a paella class. I'm excited for. We're also going to Morocco for a little bit. I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going all
Africa,
over.
You could cross off a continent.
Yeah.
Morocco's in Africa.
I mean, it's a 17-day trip. And like, I think we're only spending a few days in each place. Where are we going? I don't fucking know. And that's what's really great is having somebody kind of plan the trip for you. So it's like, but it's loosely based. So we have like plans, but we don't, it's more like we're here for a couple of days, then we go here, then we go here, then we go here. So, which is nice. I'd rather have that because then I don't get
Do you like
disappointed.
vacations where they're super planned? I don't mean to cut you off, but do you like vacations where they're super planned, or do you like to just go with the flow, or do you like a combo?
A combo.
Me
How
too.
about you? Yeah.
I like a combo too. When I was younger, I always thought like, I don't like an itinerary. I don't like it when people are like, okay, we got to wake up by 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Then we're going to go over here for breakfast. Then we're going to like, you have the whole day like scheduled out. That's, oh
you.
my God, that feels like school. Why would you want that? This is supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable. So I definitely like it where, like when I was in Scotland, it was like, all right, cool. Let's go see the Edinburgh Castle. We got to tour that thing. It's old as hell. There's some great history there. The views are phenomenal. All right, cool. That'll be the big thing for that chunk of the day. Then after that, let's walk around. Let's see what we can get into.
Yeah.
And then while we're walking around, see what we can get into, then let's Google some of the top restaurants that are nearby.
Yeah.
Like that style.
Yeah.
Right. So you're still planning, you're hitting some sites, you're doing some stuff, but you are not locked down where you feel like every minute of the day is accounted for.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Where it's just like, okay, all we have to do is we have dinner here and this thing here, and whatever happens in between, let's just figure it out. And those are usually for me, those are the best experiences when you just like, what's in this bar? And you go in there and you're like, this is fun. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, what the hell is that thing? Like, this looks fun to eat. Let's do that. Those are always like the spontaneous
My
things.
Uncle Paul was telling me a story about how he was in Italy recently, and a few of my cousins happened to be there at the same time, so they like met up, but briefly because he had to go meet up with some friends, him and my Aunt Patty. And then they were like, what's crazy? The top of this hotel has a really cool bar up there. It's not listed in anything, but the views are spectacular. And there's not that many people up there. It's kind of a chill little spot because no one's really talking about it, right? Because who would think the top of this hotel would have a bar or whatever? And then my cousin ended up going up there, and then they ran into him the next day there, and they go, where have you been drinking? Like, where have you been hanging out? He's like, here. We love this place. You gave us the best spot. This isn't on any brochure. This isn't on anything.
Yeah.
It's this little gem where like the view's incredible and the drinks aren't bad. They're pretty like reasonably cost. So we've just been here the whole fucking time.
Yeah, nothing's better than a local recommendation.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, don't like open. At least have a day where you just like go to a bar, have a couple drinks, become friends with the bartender, and be like, hey, where do you like to go? Like, what do you guys do? You know, and if they're cool, they'll tell you if they like you. If you're not a fucking asshole American, they'll tell you the good shit. But if you're an asshole and you act like all the top 5 things that we just came up with, they're going to tell you to go to the shitty place and you're not going to have a good time. And then you're going to fucking talk shit because you weren't nice enough to accept other people in your life other than your own creed.
Yeah. Yeah, shake that shit.
Shake that shit.
Shake that. So, were you at Comedians You Should Know the one time when there was a couple people from Spain in the crowd?
Maybe. I don't know.
Did this really dumb crowd work. Sometimes when I do crowd work, I just try to be silly with it. And I was like, Spain, what do you guys got there? Bulls? Like, I just was like fucking dumb as hell. So that reminded me, will the Bulls be running when you're there?
No idea.
I don't know what time of year they do that.
No
It's
idea.
probably like an annual once a year they do this running with the Bulls thing, which is really kind of stupid.
You never do it? I could see
I
you
would
doing
never do that. Well, I don't like fucking with animals.
Okay.
Also, whenever I watch the videos and someone gets fucking,
Speared?
what's the word? Gored?
Gourd, yeah.
Yeah, by a bull.
Yeah.
It's like, you had that shit coming.
Uh-huh.
Why are you fucking with these bulls?
Yeah.
Like, you're being a dick.
Would you ever never do that? Even like
I think
20
I would
years
go.
ago?
I might watch it.
You'd watch it.
Maybe I'd be up in a balcony safely watching these idiots run for their lives. That'd be enjoyable.
I don't know why I correlated these two things, but would you ever do a demolition derby?
When I'm the driver?
Yeah.
Could I get killed doing that?
No.
Maybe then.
I mean, like
Maybe.
you could get killed doing anything, but yeah.
Sure. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big thrill-seeking risk guy.
You're not.
I'll never jump out of an airplane. I'll
Okay.
never bungee jump.
Okay.
I'll never. There's just a lot of those things like running with the bulls. I have no desire to do things like that.
You and I should put our money together and do the Gumball Race.
What's the Gumball Race?
The Gumball Race is where it's basically like the fuck Burt Reynolds movie is that?
Smoking the Bandit?
No, the other one. It's basically like they've done it in the United States, but it's like a bunch of rich people come together. They have all these like nice cars, and they just do an illegal street race from like one state to like another state. Like it's a far one that a lot of people are losing their. It's just like Jack. The only reason I know about it because Jackass did it when that was on television, and I was like, I want to fucking do that. Just like buy a shitty car and just fucking just lose your license.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't sound that appealing to me.
No, Cannonball
you
Run.
know why?
It's like Cannonball Run.
I don't like driving. Fucking hate driving.
I wonder why.
Because it's boring.
Yeah, because you're from Chicago.
Yeah, bad drivers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's boring.
Yeah.
You didn't drive for a while.
Uh-huh.
So do you think that's why you still look at driving like it's fun? Because you took a break from it for such a long time?
No, I think I.
Because you moved to a neighborhood where you didn't need to drive.
Yeah.
So I feel like your car was just sitting in the garage for long periods of time.
I almost never drive. So when I do drive, I appreciate it. And it's kind of
There you
nice.
go.
Like when I visit family in Wisconsin, it's nice because like 20 minutes gives me 15 miles.
No, I mean, you need a car.
You need a
for
car
certain
there.
things. As a
Yeah.
comedian, like, I was doing shows in Janesville, Wisconsin. Shout out to the Comedy Cabin. Those were great shows. I was in South Bend before that. You got to be able, I see the value in cars. I just personally, when I drive, just get very kind of bored with it.
It's so fucking annoying in Chicago. Like to go, sometimes it's, to where to where we record to where I stay at night. It's like 2.5 miles. That takes me sometimes 40 fucking minutes.
That's
It's insane.
So dumb.
I want to lose my mind.
I know. Well,
And you know what's funny about that? You know what's shitty about Americans? My family never understands it because they don't drive in Chicago. They don't know. So they're always like, why are you late? I'm like, it took me 50 minutes to get to the highway.
I know. They don't get it.
And they're like, but they're like, oh, it says it's only this amount of time from Chicago here. I'm like, you're not putting my address in, you're putting Chicago in.
Yeah.
So it's just saying from the highway. You have no fucking idea how long it took me to get. Like when I had to pick you up when we had a show on the west side.
Oh, that was crazy.
That was fucking insane.
Yeah, we had these show in these western suburbs, and the buses were going slow. And if there's an event, oh my god. If there's an event, the whole fucking city gets insane where nobody knows how to move anywhere.
Yeah.
Because one street gets taken.
Right.
And so then everyone goes to the other street. That's another thing about modern driving. Everyone's obsessed with Waze. The problem is Waze is now sending you all the same spots.
I know.
There's no saving with Waze anymore.
Yeah.
I think when
Anytime Uber uses
out,
it, I'm always like, fuck.
When it first came out, I think it saved some people a few minutes. Everyone got excited. There's no difference anymore. I compare it to like Google Maps. They give me the same routes as Google Maps.
I'd
now.
argue it's quicker to get somewhere in a hot air balloon in Chicago.
That'd be fucking baller though, man.
Yeah.
If you show up to a pub in a hot air balloon.
Like, hey guys, I'm out. I gotta get home. My wife's calling me.
Again, though, dude, if you show up to a pub in a hot air balloon and you don't get your dick sucked that night,
Yeah.
you don't need a dick.
You don't need it.
Because how are you not getting ass from that?
Right.
Because you show up with in a hot air balloon and people outside see it come down. That's right away. I got to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
That's your in. You don't even have to be interesting.
Yeah.
The hot air balloon.
Instantly, I think the Russians are attacking. And then it's Joe Kilgallon. God damn. What?
I don't know why you'd think the Russians were attacking off a hot air balloon. You think they would make that kind of strike?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't that how you get here from Russia?
This is why they hate us, actually, right over there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you know what? This is concluding season 2, this episode of Let's Get Dumb.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to still put some episodes up for you. We're going to choose a couple classics, and then we'll be back with season 3. We are going to redo. So watch, for those of you who subscribe on your iPhones and whatnot, we're changing the logo. Our boy Austin, who's our producer, who's a very wise young guy that is making sure we don't become old dumbasses, he said, you got to give it a paint job. Remember that?
Ice cream paint job.
Little face
So we're going to try to make it look better. We're going to figure out how to make it look better. And Austin's been very active on YouTube the last few days. Still follow us on Instagram. There's activity going on over there and all that good shit. And yeah, tell your friends, because we are going to ramp up and close out 2024 strong.
Mm-hmm.
And 2025 is ours.
Yeah, get that new logo, then we'll get a TikTok. That's also why.
I'm just realizing when are we going to have time to fucking do this logo? But we'll find it. We'll find the time. We'll figure it out. Thanks for listening to Let's Get Dumb, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.